All right, welcome to the Rokani Media Football. How are you guys? And where you watching us from? I go by the names of Rokani David. Smash the like button, comment and share. If at all you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload daily. Merino to Arsenal transfer to drag on. The reasons have going to be given to us, and you're gonna be dissecting them in here for you. And then we are having a big story coming in through from Spurs. Ange has something to say about the transfer plan. And then there is an English guy known as Marcus Edwards who plays for Sporting Lisbon as a right winger, formerly linked to Arsenal and Liverpool, and now he has all the way to obviously put in his shift to obviously come in through and do the job at the club of Juventus. So we thank God for the gift of life, the Muslims, Barakallahu Fikum, and may the living to God bless you and place you abundantly into the mix. Now, after that, we obviously have to bring you the best of the best. And remember, we are powered by Mono Gadgets. Mono Gadgets are dealers in phones, laptops, brand new, even used phones and used laptops. You know, that is Mono Gadgets for you. And if at all you want to obviously get a gadget, a phone or a laptop, brand new or used from UK, call them on +256 70 99 88 665. That is Mono Gadgets for you. And they obviously give you the best that you deserve into the mix. So let's start it off with a story coming in through from Miguel Delany, you know, reputable journalist. And when he speaks, you have to obviously pay your ears. He's a chief correspondent or a chief football writer at The Independent. He has told us that Arsenal and Real Sociedad are still somewhere apart over the structure and amount of the deal on Mikel Merino's proposed transfer. Sociedad are holding out for 35 million euros, while Arsenal are aiming to pay a fee closer to 25 million euros. Now, we've always gonna hate obviously talk about the structure, that it's the one really delaying this deal. But the fact is, it's not only the structure, it's the amount that Arsenal are really willing to pay to the team of Real Sociedad, and what Real Sociedad really wants Arsenal to pay. Arsenal wants to pay an amount in the region of 20. You get a region of 25 million euros, and the side of Real Sociedad is calling out for 35 million euros, meaning that even before the structure is being discussed, they're 10 million euros apart, right? Meaning that they need to obviously close that gap in there for you. And then he also added on the structure of the deal, and he told us that Arsenal are 10 million euros short of Sociedad's valuation for Merino. Arsenal want to pay 25 million euros. Real Sociedad want close to 35 million euros. Arsenal want transfer fee split into 3 equal installments. Sociedad want much of the fee up front. Deal could drag till end of the window. Now, when you hear that, that shows you that there is a lot that they need to obviously come through and obviously agree. And I think it has now come to our notice that even the transfer fee hasn't gonna have to be agreed, meaning that the club is in talks with Arsenal and they're still trying to do the needful. And I think that's why Edu fly to Spain to obviously see if this deal really doesn't drag on until the end of the summer transfer window. Because if it drags until the summer transfer window, will Arsenal go ahead and really sign another player, or they'll only stop on Merino in there and don't sign any other player? So, as it stands right now, nothing is really gonna go ahead, not until Real Sociedad come up and really understand that they're not in control of the deal. The player is left with just 1 year on his contract, and Sociedad might lose out on this player on a free. And I tell you what, they have to dance to the tunes of Arsenal. Whatever Arsenal puts on the table is what Real Sociedad is really gonna be dancing to. Because if this player doesn't cross from Sociedad to Arsenal, there is no way Sociedad is really gonna benefit from this player. Merino will obviously sign a pre-contract with a team in January that he wants to play for in the season of 2025-2026. All else, Merino will find himself in a proper position of running down his contract, and he moves out as a free agent. That's what the side of Sociedad knows, and they are showing that they're not worried about it, and they're trying to obviously play an L game because they believe there might come in another team that can convince Mikel Merino to join them. And I remember this is why we had a story way back that the agent had gone ahead obviously offer the player to Barcelona and called Barcelona to see whether they are willing to come in and sign the player, because earlier they had shown some huge interest. But as it stands, it's only and only Arsenal in for Mikel Merino, and there is no other team that is in for Mikel Merino. So Arsenal is really okay with everything, meaning that Sociedad will have to dance to the tunes, you know, they'll have to dance to the tunes of Arsenal, by the way. That's what they're supposed to do. And Arsenal is not willing to be bossed because they know the player is left with just 1 year on his contract, and they're not willing to pay 35 million euros, and they're willing to pay 25. Remember, earlier the fee was around 20 million euros, and now Arsenal are willing to pay 25. And even the structure of the payment, Sociedad wants like 90% of the guaranteed fees to be paid in one batch because it's a 20 or 35 million euro deal. And Arsenal is like, we are going to give him a 4-year contract, and we want to obviously divide 25 million euros by 4, meaning that on average we'll be getting you 5.5 million euros per year spread out for the remaining 4 years the guy has on his contract. And I don't know why Sociedad is really trying to really hold on to their own stains as if they had a release clause with this player. If they had a release clause, then it would have gone ahead to come out to be practical into what they're really calling in for. But the moment you don't have a release clause with the player, it's very hard to negotiate a deal like that, because with a release clause, it calls upon for a team to pay all that money up front at once. You understand? But the moment that they don't have what we call a release clause with Merino and he's been leaving, there is no way they can set conditions that way. And we wait for some rectification or ratification from Fabrizio Romano and some other tier 1 journalists onto the deal of this nature, because we might be really thinking something different, and yet the team might be really willing to offer something different. So we are waiting to see what pans out of the deal, but I tell you, Arsenal will get their man. And I told you that this season, Arsenal is not obviously going to go in and really hurry to bring in players, because they all believe in the squad they're really having. They believe in it, and they believe that it can really compete favorably for the trophy. You understand? And that's why they're taking their time. And that's why for Mikel Merino, they went in fast and got him, because they felt like they needed a left back to come in through and obviously close that space that costed them the season, you know, that costed them the trophy the previous season. That is Arsenal for you. So when Arsenal comes in through and puts in the required shift altogether, I really understand that it's really gonna be okay, and nothing is really not gonna go into the best way possible. So as it stands, Merino to Arsenal is dragging on, but Arsenal are very right. And for this time round, I'll come out and tell that I think now Arsenal have a point. You know, when a player is left with just one on his contract, you shouldn't be ransomed. You get? These people should come out and obviously dance to the tunes of Arsenal, because if they don't dance to the tunes of Arsenal, they are going to lose this player on a free. You get? So I think I now support Arsenal. You know, they have the reason. They have all what it takes to obviously not be ransomed. And they believe the player has to be costing them only 25 million euros, right? Because the player is left with just 1 year on his contract. You understand? And even his age, he's 28 years of age. How do you pay that amount of money for a player who is 28 years of age? If he was like 24, 25, you really understand that, all right, I'm paying like 30, 40 million euros for a player who hasn't gonna hit his prime. But this guy is 3 years past his prime, and he's dying to obviously come in through and really play for the club of Arsenal. And he shunned all the teams, you know, PSG, talk of Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, and he only wants obviously go ahead and bid with the needful. But never say never. when something is really dilly-dallying around, the mind of the player might really change, and maybe Atletico Madrid can come in through and hijack the deal, you know. And Sociedad, I think, are really trying to tell the player that, please, why don't you really allow another team to come in through and obviously gets you going, to see to it that you really get in the best, to see to it that we get in the best from you and won't really get you and sell you to Arsenal on a very limited fee in there for you. But they're the ones to blame. Why would you allow him really reach this level before putting pen to paper? So that is what you're getting in from Mikel Merino. That deal is dragging on, and Arsenal is like, all right, you'll get us the player because his contract is running down. You know, you have to sell him. And the player's going to give us an assurance. Personal terms are not a problem. They're going to have to be agreed. And I tell you what, nothing is really going to stop them from obviously getting to where they really deserve to be. Now, the Athletic has come out and really given us a hint coming in from Spurs and what their transfer plan is all about. After bringing in Dominic Solanke, Timo Werner, they've come out and told us that Tottenham Hotspur's summer transfer business isn't done. Spurs are expected to sign at least one more central midfielder. Ange Postecoglou wants to sign an all-action number 8 before the deadline. Now, for Spurs, I've on several occasions told you that it's a rebuild that is really going to take some time. You know, for everyone who believes that Rome was built in one day, it's not going to happen. He showed you that. He won, I think, the first opening 10 games of the season in the Premier League for Spurs. But I was telling everyone that Spurs is really going to really implode. And they really imploded because he had players not having the right mentality. Injuries, suspensions obviously affected him. Now, this season, he wants to obviously strengthen his squad to see to it that his squad gets him to where he deserves to be as a player. And I believe that a lot is really going to be happening into the mix for the side of Ange Postecoglou. And he's really going to compete this season again. But he's competing when one of the teams, all two teams, are going to hit obviously raise. Spurs and Chelsea and Manchester United look like they're going to be a new force into the Premier League, because when you look at the players Chelsea is going to sign, you obviously understand that it's not going to be an easy side to beat. You know, Manchester United, yesterday they got in Matthias De Ligt and Mazuri, and now they're going in for Ugarte. You understand? They're really doing the needful into this transfer window. So Spurs is really going to find it hard. And for them to obviously be part of the teams to compete for the trophy and the Champions League positions, they need to put in what we call the required shift. The required shift altogether to see to it that everything really moves on to the right way they want it. So I'm 100% sure that they're still going to get in more players, and that number 8 is really important because they went ahead to lose Højbjerg to Marseille on a €5 million deal, and it's rumored that the manager of Tottenham Hotspur is an admirer of Scott McTominay. You never know. They might obviously attack Manchester United and tell them, please, can you get us Scott McTominay? Because Scott McTominay is a very good number 8. You know, he makes those late runs in the box, scores you goals. He is really tenacious. And the point is Manchester United willing to sell him? That is the huge point. But Ange Postecoglou wants in more and more and more players to come in through and obviously put in the required shift altogether. So that is Ange Postecoglou for you, and he's really doing great to see to it that everything really moves his way at the club of Spurs. And I think this season he's really going to be also playing to the UEFA Europa League, and he's really going to put in a very good show into the mix. Now, Fabrizio Romano has come out and really said something about this other guy that I've always gonna hate to love a lot. You know, he goes by names of Marcus Edwards. I think he's 25, 26 years of age. He plays for Sporting Lisbon, and we've been told that Juventus keep working on 2 new wingers for Thiago Motta after Karim Adeyemi deal off. Negotiations continue for Nico Gonzalez with Fiorentina, while Juventus have also approached Sporting Lisbon in the last 24 hours. Juventus have asked for conditions of Marcus Edwards. So, for Marcus Edwards, I believe it's high time he went ahead to play for that big team, because he's this kind of guy who was going to obviously put in a very huge shift. and that shift has gonna hit obviously elevate, you know, to the level of his performances, and no one doubts his levels. That's why teams like Arsenal, Liverpool, and Spurs were linked to the player, and this guy is really talented. And I think he just needs to get out of that team of Sporting Lisbon and obviously get going. Remember, he's 25 years of age, you know, and he was born in London and is making 26 years of age this year. When you look at last season, he played 26 games, 4 goals, and 4 assists, you know. He played in the same team with Jokares, and he's a very wonderful player. I really love to see what he does. He's good on the ball, and he's a press-resistant player, and he can obviously do what we call the creativity part of it. He's not a selfish player. He obviously releases players where need be. You know, that is Marcus Edwards for you. I just can't wait to see how Juventus are really going to execute this deal after they failed to get in Karim Adeyemi, and he was like, I'm going to be staying at Borussia Dortmund. So guys, I call upon for your reactions into the comment section below about Mikel Merino transfer to Arsenal dragging on. Then what do you make about Marcus Edwards to Juventus, and Spurs still going in for more transfers in the field? Remember, we are powered by Mono Gadgets 256, and you can as well contact them on +256 70 99 88 665 if you want a brand new phone and a brand new laptop. Even if you want used laptops and used phones from the UK, they'll be at your service. You know, you can as well follow them on TikTok at Mono Gadgets, and they'll obviously get you the best that you deserve into the making. Rokani David is my name, and I sign out for now. See you later. May the living to God bless you abundantly. Bye bye for now.